Hey guys, welcome back to the Juice Reacts channel, and welcome to the final part in my 3-part HSM High School Musical deep dive, pointing out all of the inconsistencies between all three movies. If you've missed the first two, then go back and watch them. They're on my channel as separate videos, and I'm thinking that once this video is done and out, I'm probably going to release a full combined all three movies into one type of video, which is going to probably be like over 2 hours long, over 3 hours long. It's going to be a long time. I'll probably title it like Deep Dive Full Movie or something like that, where I just like splice out the intro part, this part, from the second movie and probably from the third movie as well, and then just combine them all into one video so that if you don't want to go back and watch all three movies or all three videos, you can just watch this one video that has everything in it from all three movies. So that's probably what I'm going to do. That's what I've been thinking about doing. So probably once this video goes out, be prepared for in the next couple days for that whole video to come out. So it'll include this part and both of the other parts from the first two movies. So now that that's been said, it is time to point out all of the inconsistencies in High School Musical 3, and trust me, there are plenty. You're going to be hearing some rants from me, from multiple different perspectives, from multiple different situations. There's going to be some funny moments. There's going to be some questionable decision-making from some of the characters. We're definitely going to be talking about that. Yeah, this is maybe the one that I talked about, how the second movie probably has the most inconsistencies, and that's probably true. But this one has the most confusing inconsistencies, I'd have to say. There's a lot of things in here that you would think would be one way, that you would think would work one way, or that think that a character would act some certain way, but then they act another way, or they say something that you feel like they should already know about. Like, there's a lot of things in here that we're going to be pointing out that you feel like should already be known or should already be understanded, like stuff like that. So we'll get into it. Trust me, I've got a pretty big script on my phone for everything that we're going to be talking about today. So sit back, relax. This is obviously the longest of the three movies. It is the first in the trilogy, obviously the last of the trilogy, that was not a made-for-Disney movie. It was actually in theaters. It had a movie-style budget, and you will tell that by seeing just the difference in the product quality, the way that the movie just looks in general. You'll be able to tell that fairly easily. And the very first shot of the entire movie with Troy and his sweat, like super up close in his face and stuff, you can tell that it was not a made-for-Disney movie, made-for-Disney Channel movie, and it was actually like a movie-style budget. So I'm excited. I've seen this movie plenty of times, plenty of times, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have as well. So sit back, relax, get some popcorn, get a nice comfy blanket, chill out, and have fun listening to me rant about the movies that I love for probably about 2 hours. So let's get into it. Hope you guys go and enjoy. If you do, leave it a like, subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club, and let's point out all the inconsistencies in High School Musical 3 senior year. Okay, so we need to talk right off the bat about the continuity of these state title games. Last year, they were held right before the winter musical callbacks. They were held at the same time. Well, they were only held at the same time because Sharpay told Miss Darbus to reschedule the callbacks to the same day. They would have been held like a couple of days prior, I think, or a couple of days. The game would have been a couple of days before. So, but it was in that general time span of winter musical callbacks. And now, all of a sudden, they're in the same time frame as graduation? Now, obviously, there could be some huge time jump. I've had my theories in the past about this third movie being some massive time jump in between the state title game, and then the actual musical, and then the graduation. Like, the whole this whole movie takes place over the course of their entire senior year, which is what I kind of think is what the problem is, or what the scenario is. It's not like condensed like the first two movies are, where movie 2 takes place during the entire summer, and movie 1 takes place during after the new year. So, and then to their graduation, obviously, or to the end of the year. So, I'm assuming that this movie takes place over the course of their entire senior year, so maybe that's the thing. Maybe the state title game is still taking place during winter musical season, and then the next time we get, like, when we jump forward again, and it goes towards the musical and getting ready for that, and then it gets towards graduation, and then that's the end of the movie. That's most likely the scenario. But if it's not, then Mr. Ortega, we need to have some talks, because you're jumping around like crazy and you're being super inconsistent with the timeline. I need to know what the exact timeline is. That's all I'm saying. I need to know what the exact timeline. I think I know what it is. I think it is encompassing the entire senior year, because obviously the movie is titled High School Musical 3 Senior Year. So I'm assuming that the whole timeline of this third movie is the entirety of senior year, from August or whenever they start school all the way to May when they graduate, or June, whenever their graduation may be, April, May, June, whatever it is. I'm assuming it's encompassing that entire year, but it's never specifically stated in the movie that it's the entire year. That's why I don't know. But I'm going to go with my theory that it is the entire year, because otherwise it doesn't make sense. And I don't want to pull my hair out in the first clip, because the continuity doesn't make sense if it's not my theory. So we're going to stick with that theory, and that's how we're going to rock. Okay? We all agree? Good. My boy Richards, I got to respect him. My boy is committed to that Wildcat paw shaved in the back of his head. You got to respect it. He's committed to the grind. He's committed to the team. I wouldn't wear a Wildcat paw the shaved in the back of my head, but I got to respect the grind for Richards.
All right. Hey, guys. You heard Coach. We're all going to remember the next 16 minutes for a long time after we leave East High. So it's now or never.
Great speech, Troy. That's really going to rile up the team. It's now or never. You didn't even show any emotion. Come on, Troy. You got it. Like, you're down in this state title game. You've got 16 minutes to go in your high school season, in your high school career as a Wildcat basketball player. And that's the emotion you're showing in the speech. I understand that you're the captain. You don't want to put too much emotion out there, because, like, you don't want to get emotion. You don't want to get ahead of yourself. But, like, you're literally the team cap. You're literally the best player on the planet, and that's the emotion that you're showing. Great speech, Troy. Great speech. This just proves that they can only sing, or they can only win when they sing. It's literally all this proves. They can only win if they start singing. Why weren't they singing in the first half? All you got to do is sing in the first half. You're going to win by 50. But you needed the drama. You needed to have the drama of being down in the game in the second half. So you didn't sing. You could have. That's literally your superpower. All you have to do is sing, and you're going to win basketball games. You should have just done that from the beginning. We wouldn't even have this scenario. Troy is totally not okay, but whatever. Look at that face. Look at that face. Troy is absolutely 100% not okay. He might have a concussion. He could have some sort of, like, internal injury, maybe strain something. Like, he is not okay. This man is on a different planet. He is totally not okay. I know there's a lot of controversy over Matt Prokop, because what he did to I forget her actual name, the Modern Family girl. I apologize if I'm blanking on her actual name. I think he, like, abused her or something, and, like, obviously he's not a great human being, but he is very funny in this movie. So I do acknowledge he's not the greatest human being, but when he was acting in this movie, he was very funny.
How you doing, girl?
Oh, I'm good. Oh, great comeback.
Thanks. Whoa, watch that tail, man. is dangerous. You know it!
Hello. Watch that tail, man. It's dangerous. You know it? Okay, Ryan. Okay. Why are you still wearing the bottom half of your my Wildcat outfit anyway? Only the second girl? Honestly, I would have guessed a lot more than that. I mean, look at that man. Look at that man right there. And he's only had 2 girls up there, and one was his mom. I mean, come on. That's a total lie. We know the truth, Troy. Just tell it. I know you like you want to play it cool. Like, oh, you're only the second girl I've ever had up here, and the first was my mom. But no. We know you had plenty of girls up here. Or maybe he's being super smart. Maybe he's saying, "Oh yeah, I've only had one other girl up here, and it was my mom, because all the other girls were not. We didn't take them to the treehouse. I know they were straight to the bedroom. I don't know. That's what I would do, but I don't look as good as Troy. That's for sure."
You know, my mom and I have been talking about Stanford University pretty much since I was born.
Man, you're already in. That's so cool.
Except she won't stop talking about it. It's embarrassing.
Come on, she's proud of you.
I'm sorry, Gabriella. She's a proud parent. Her daughter, her only daughter, is so smart that she gets to go to Stanford, one of the best schools in the country for academics. And you're embarrassed because she's talking to Troy's mom and Chad's mom, presumably her friends? You never see her do anything outside of a few appearances earlier where, she doesn't have any contact with any other parents. And now you're embarrassed because she won't stop talking about how you got into Stanford, a prestigious school? Jeez. Man, Gabriella, maybe you're the villain. I've had some pretty attractive people that I went to high school with. I knew some pretty attractive people. Not my whole high school wasn't filled with attractive people. There was a few attractive people in my high school, both men and women. But I never had anybody so attractive that when they walked into the high school, there were people just parting the seas for them, or somebody fainting, falling down to the ground, sliding down the wall like that man was right there. I she's on another level. Sharpay is on another level of attractiveness and just aura, that she's got this just vibe that she's not to be messed with, and 2, she's just so attractive and just got this crazy aura around her that everybody takes notice. It's crazy. I've never been a part of something like that. It's kind of crazy, actually.
Hey, Troy. So, when's the big game?
Yesterday.
Oh, well, good luck.
Oh, here we go again. She's back at it again. I can't with you, Sharpay. I can't with you. It's every single time. Oh, I can't handle it. Oh, I can't handle it. She's back at it again. How does she get that second locker? Does she pay off the person that happened to be next to her? Or did she go to the principal and ask for 2 lockers? Did she do it herself and not tell anybody? Did she paint it? There's no way she painted it herself. That's a custom paint job. There's no way she did it herself. Where's the person? What happened to the person that had that locker? Because previously, last year, she had 1 locker. So now all of a sudden she's a senior, she gets 2 lockers, and everybody else gets 1? With a custom paint job? And a custom Sharpay Evans font or script on top of the lock? What? Where's she? How did this happen? I need to know the details. What happened to the person next to her, the original owner of that locker? Did she customize it herself? Because when she opens the doors, it's 1 locker. It just happens to be 2 doors. So did she take out the separator in between the other 2 lockers? What happened? How did she do this? Is she just secretly super handy and we just don't know? I need to know the details.
What are you? I mean, who are you?
Good morning, Miss Evans. I'm Tiara Gold.
Tiara Gold. Pretty good name. Pretty good name, especially if you're going to be assistant to Sharpay Evans. Your name needs to be Tiara Gold. That fits. I like it. If you own any orange, get rid of it. I like that she says that here, because in High School Musical, the musical, the series, Courtney, obviously, season 4, Courtney gets cast as Sharpay. And during their read-through, in the episode where we get Can I Have This Dance between Ricky and Gina, in that read-through, her outfit is completely orange. She's got an orange hat, she's got an orange jacket, and she's got an orange skirt. She might even have like an orange like carry-on, like a purse or like a pocketbook, whatever they're called. And I'm pretty sure she has like orange heels on. I just think it's funny that Sharpay says that in here, and then they go and they make Courtney wear all orange. I think that's pretty funny.
Questions?
Yeah. What's the lunch special in the cafeteria today?
New York Deli. Anyone else?
Ooh. She had a comeback for her. I respect it. True and utter panic in Kelsey's eyes when Sharpay even mentions the idea of a one-woman show. Absolute terror, panic, concern that she has to scribble down everybody's name in the homeroom just so that there's no way Sharpay can do her one-woman show. That is true Hater of the Year award territory. Like, Kelsey hates Sharpay so much that she's willing to rob her of a one-woman show because she hates her that much. That is, I respect the hatred. I like it. I like where your head's at, Kelsey.
Yeah, nice, guys. That's pretty funny. So, who's the big comedian?
Is there something wrong?
Yeah, I didn't apply. I've never heard of Juilliard.
How have you never heard of Juilliard? Even I've heard of Juilliard. I heard of Juilliard before I watched this movie. Like, I know what Juilliard is. Troy, why you gotta be so dense? Why you gotta be so dense sometimes? Just use your brain. You know what Juilliard is. You've heard of that. You're not just some basketball just jock that doesn't care about anything else. You know what you've heard of it before, Troy. Everybody's heard of it. It's Juilliard. I want to point something out real quickly. It's a little thing. It's just kind of funny to me. So when Miss Darbus initially asked Taylor what her future is, she has her right arm, or she has her left arm up to her face. Then it cuts to Taylor. She says that she's going to be the president of the United States. And it cuts to Miss Darbus, and her right arm is then up to her face. And then it cuts back to Taylor, but it cuts back to like a wide shot, and you can see Miss Darbus in the back. And her left arm is back up. So it like switches the arm. I think it's kind of funny. It's got to be like different takes, I would think. But I just think it's funny. It's a little thing. It doesn't matter at all. I think it's funny that it's left arm, left arm in 3 different scenes. It's like back to back to back. It's just pretty funny.
Mr. Bolton. Your future.
Oh, yeah, you know, thinking about...
I think we should stage the perfect prom.
Man, Gabriella really let her man just absolutely sink before she stepped in. Like, she was waiting for like a solid 30, 45 seconds. Just waiting to see what he would say. He said nothing, and she was just like, you could have read the room. You could have anticipated that he wasn't going to say anything, felt his confusion and like he didn't know what to think because now he's got Juilliard on his mind instead of just U of A. So yeah, like if you were an intuitive girlfriend, you would have like stepped in maybe 20, 25 seconds earlier and been like, I know you're kind of sinking right now. I'll save you so you can swim and not just completely sink to the bottom of the depths. Like, she could have stepped in a little bit earlier, but no, she let him flail out there for an uncomfortable amount of time before she decided to step in and talk about being whatever she is, lawyer or whatever. What kind of pull does Sharpay have at this school, man? She gets the double locker. She gets her own meal prepared every day at lunch. Like, what kind of pull does I know her parents are super rich. I understand that. They probably donate some money to the high school, but Like, what kind of pull does she have? She gets all this crazy stuff. She gets her own parking spot in the parking lot. Like, what are we talking about? She got some crazy pull at this school. It's wild.
They're deceitful, ambitious, and ruthless.
So is Sharpay just not going to eat? She waves off Tiara like she doesn't want to. She's not hungry, so she's just not going to eat then? She's just going to starve the whole day? Like, you're not hungry at all, Sharpay? You've gone through the entire day. I know that when I was in high school, I was starving by lunchtime. Like, you get there at like 7 o'clock in the morning, or 7:30, 7:45, whenever people got there, and then you don't eat till like 12. Like, I was hungry. I was hungry by lunchtime. So I don't get how Sharpay could just wave off Tiara Gold like, oh, I'm not hungry. Go away. Take the tray. Like, what? What are we talking about, Sharpay? Eat some food. You need it. You need to eat every day. You're hungry. I know you are. I don't understand it. The pose that they finish with, Sharpay and Ryan, at the end, like in the dream sequence, is not the same pose when they fade back to reality, as you can see here. Different poses. But just wanted to point it out. I think it's funny. I think it's kind of funny that they shift their poses, but that's okay. They're performers. They're allowed to change.
So you make certain we get those songs.
How?
Polish her glasses, buy her some ruby slippers, take her to prom. I don't know. Just do it.
Stop trying to push this straight Ryan agenda. Stop it. Just let him be who he is. We know he's not straight. He's pretty clearly shown that through these first 3 movies. Stop trying to shove it down our throats that he is straight. He doesn't need to be with Kelsey. It's an unnecessary storyline. It's an unnecessary relationship beat. We don't need it. Kelsey and Jason are more compatible in terms of they've been on screen a little bit more together. Why do we need Ryan and Kelsey? Just because they're the same kind of like person? They both like drama. They both like the arts. They both are musically gifted. We don't need this. They can be best friends. Ryan doesn't have to take her to prom just to get the song out of her. She clearly just wants to give the song to Troy and Gabriella because obviously those two are the leads pretty handedly. So stop trying to push the straight Ryan agenda. I can't handle it. That's another thing. I didn't even point this out. I never really even thought about it until just now. Gabriella like almost forces Troy to say that he wants to do the musical so that everybody else gets involved too. Because obviously they weren't going to do it if Troy wasn't going to do it. But the fact that Gabriella pretty much at that point, I'm assuming she kind of, if she didn't like in fact know for 100% certain she was going to get the honors program, the early enrollment thing, she pretty much had like a 95% good idea she was going to get that honors program. So she kind of pretty much knew that she wasn't going to be there for the play. She had this all in her mind when she did this. And yet she still says that they need to rob Sharpay of this one-woman show that probably would have been freaking fantastic. Just because it serves her selfish agenda. Gabriella, girl, you are really teetering that line between good and evil. And I think I'm starting to lean towards evil.
Well, I've never been asked to a prom, but this almost sounds like an invitation. This one.
I've never been to a dance, much less a prom.
Okay. This is going to be my first big rant of the movie. So, both Troy and Gabriella say they've never been to prom before. Gabriella says she's never been asked to a prom before. Troy says he's never even been to a dance before. How is this possible? This is an outrageous line to be said. Let's talk about this. So, Gabriella shows up in the very first movie. She shows up right after New Year's. So right as January starts of whatever year it is, she shows up to school so to finish out the rest of her junior year, and then obviously now she's in senior year. And then presumably her and Troy start dating soon after. I'm assuming sometime in, I don't know, maybe like April, maybe March they started dating. Probably. officially. They probably started dating pretty soon after she got there, like probably towards like February or something. But officially, they started dating towards the very end of the school year. Then they go through the summer, they date. We saw that. We have that on film. That all happened. Now they get to senior year. They're obviously still dating. And then she says this. They both say that line. So, if I'm not mistaken, prom is in like April, May type of time, depending on what your school is, like depending on when your school schedules it. But it's usually in like late April and May for most high schools. So at the junior prom, unless Troy and Gabriella, unless East High doesn't do junior prom, which is all possible. That's very possible. I will point that out. East High not doing a junior prom is very possible. Maybe it's only for seniors. That's a very high likely possibility. I will keep that in mind. But that doesn't mean that homecoming is not possible, because you got to remember, Gabriella missed homecoming the first year because she comes after the new year, and homecoming would have already happened because homecoming kind of follows the football season. And since East High doesn't have, at least you never really see them talk about their football team. They don't really. I wouldn't assume they had a football team, but you never know. I mean, they have like a track and like a football type of field. I don't know if maybe they play lacrosse on the field or so. I don't know. I don't think they have a true football team. But anyway, that's a different topic. So they would have presumably went to their senior homecoming, right? If this whole senior year is the whole movie is encompassing the entire senior year, they presumably would have went to homecoming. But crucially, in the second movie, when Troy's in his bedroom, we can see that picture. This is what I talked about in the second movie that I told you we would talk about again in this episode. Or this video. Here we are. We're talking about it. So in his bedroom, there is a picture framed on his nightstand next to his bed. It is a picture of Troy and Gabriella dressed to the nines underneath some sort of like arch, taking a picture. What I would presume to be a prom picture. At the least, it is a homecoming picture. Gabriella's in some very beautiful dress. Troy's in a tuxedo. And they're standing like you would take a prom picture. Troy's behind Gabriella with his hands around her waist, around her stomach, like a traditional prom picture would be taken. So that picture is already framed in his room in the summer. So they would have gone to prom that year prior, the junior year. They would have went to junior prom. How else would that picture have been taken? Because she wasn't there for homecoming. So the only dance that they would have been a part, unless there's like some sort of Sadie Hawkins dance, I guess that's a possibility. But I wouldn't count on that. It's got to be prom. It's got to be their junior prom. So that immediately just negates the entire line that Gabriella and Troy says. Gabriella has been asked to a prom before because Troy presumably would have asked her to that junior prom, and then Troy's been to a dance. He went to that dance. There's physical proof. There's proof of them at a dance. Now, they're not dancing because it's just a picture, but there is proof. So I don't understand why this line is in here. It doesn't make any sense. They had to have gone to a prom together or some sort of dance at the very least. Unless they just got like just super wild and crazy one night and got super drunk, wasted, and got all dressed up and went to West High's prom. Maybe that's what. Then technically they didn't remember it. So even though there's a picture framed on Troy, so he obviously would remember it fondly. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. It melts my brain, the fact that they say this even though there is physical evidence to counteract what they've said. It doesn't make any sense. I'm tired of it. Make it make sense, please. It's all I ask. It is all I ask for, just some continuity to make it make sense. Don't have the picture on Troy's nightstand during the summer if then in the third movie you're going to have these two lines in there. If that picture wasn't on the thing, then it really wouldn't be that much of a thought. Like, oh, you'd probably like once over think about, hey, wouldn't they have gone to prom junior year? Like that thought would probably enter your mind maybe once for a fleeting moment, but you wouldn't really think about it because this movie's made for teenagers, like preteens and stuff. So they wouldn't really care, but that's a small detail that they wouldn't care about. But I'm a 25-year-old grown man watching this movie, and I think about those things because I'm crazy. I think about the details. And so it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. Don't show that picture framed on Troy's desk or Troy's nightstand if then in the third movie you're just going to completely get rid of that picture like it never happened. And we'll get to some more weirdly taken pictures later in this movie, specifically with Gabriella. But I don't know, it's so frustrating that they have that in the second movie and then they completely just go the opposite way when talking about if they've ever been to a prom before, because they clearly have, or else there wouldn't be any physical evidence with a picture taken of them in beautiful dress and tuxedo taking a picture at a prom. It wouldn't happen. So just make it make sense, please. Troy and Gabriella get all wet while singing "Can I Have This Dance" on the roof. But the very next time we see Troy, he's all dry. Like, how long is the difference between that scene when they were on the roof and now this scene where they steal Rocket Man's clothes and the other, I forget his name, I apologize, I forget the dude's name, where they steal his clothes. Like, is there a big time difference between that? Is this days after? Like, I don't know. I have no idea what the time difference is here. All I know is, I'm sure if I was Troy's friend, I would be having questions like, dude, why are you all wet? He was literally soaking wet from being in the rain. When he came, he probably would have presumably came down the stairs, walked through the hallway, soaking wet, probably came into the locker room to change, obviously, get a towel, dry off, do all that kind of stuff. But he walked through the hallway soaking. No teacher stepped out of their classroom and noticed Troy Bolton was all wet. Like, what happened? You're not curious? Did something happen to him? Like what? No, but nobody ever, like, we don't get any follow-up on, like, nobody's wondering why he's so wet and why Gabriella's so, she's got this beautiful dress on, this sundress, and nobody's wondering why she's soaking wet either? Or does she go to the women's bathroom and dry out? Like, how did she stand underneath the little air dryer thing? You push the button to dry your hands, you stood underneath it and dried herself off? Like, what happened here? I need to know why everybody's okay with them coming downstairs from the roof back into the hallways and them being soaking wet. Like, no, was nobody wondering where they were? Nobody's wondering what's going on. Like, what? Just because they're seniors, they can do whatever they want? I guess. I guess. It's what happens. I'm the only one asking the real questions here.
Yearbook opportunity. Photo up.
Okay, so we're going to talk about both of these things at the same time. So, one, Troy and Chad leading those two boys through the entirety of the school, well, most of the school, in only their towels, is a wild prank. Now, to be fair, I will be truly honest. If I was in high school when this prank would have occurred, as long as it didn't happen to me, I would have been laughing. I probably would have thought it'd be pretty funny. But now that I'm not in high school, and I'm a grown man, it's a little creepy. It's a little bit of a creepy prank. Those towels could have came down at any moment, especially in front of those girls that are playing volleyball, practicing volleyball. If then you would have had some serious problems. So that's one issue. The second issue is the two girls, Gabriella and Taylor, thinking that it's a good thing for a yearbook opportunity. You want to immortalize these two scarred kids forever? Every time they open that yearbook, they're going to see themselves in just a towel in front of everybody. Everybody laughing at them. Talk about some drama. Talk about needing therapy. Like, come on. You're ruining these kids for the future. They're never going to be able to trust anybody ever again. They're never going to be able to look at themselves the same way because they got embarrassed in front of the whole school by these bully seniors who think it's funny to take their clothes and run them around the entirety of the school while they're only in their towels. also a hazard because they're all wet. They could have slipped and broken something. That's also a possibility. They didn't even think about Troy and Chad being very, very disregarding of their safety. And then the girls go and embarrass them like that. If I would have had that situation, I would have been super embarrassed. That would have been told. Actually, you know what? I probably wouldn't even have chased them. I probably would have just like been like, "You took my what? Come on, guy! Like what? You're taking my clothes? Come on!" Like I probably would have just not chased them and then like went to the principal or something. But that was just me. But yeah, that's a wild prank. First off, maybe even more wild that Gabriella and Taylor want to take a yearbook picture. Crazy, absolutely crazy. This is kind of off topic. I don't even have this in my notes. It's another thing that I just caught here that I want to point out. Does Coach Bolton, does he not help Troy anymore with the truck? He just, now that they got it running, he just completely passed it off. Like he doesn't have any. He wipes his hands clean of the truck. Like he's not helping Troy fix it at all. Troy's just got to build up enough money, earn enough money to buy the parts to help fix. Like his dad can't. I've seen the house they live in. His dad can afford it. He can't just help him out and buy him. Like, what kind of parent is that? I know he understands. I understand that he wants him to do things for himself. He doesn't want to just keep giving Troy everything he needs. But I mean, this is the man's car. This is you know it's a piece of junk. And you said it when you were putting it together with the help fixing it with Troy. You said it was a piece of junk. And yet, you clearly know that it's like falling apart. It doesn't. This a lot of the parts in the engine are not working. The fuel pump's busted. All that kind of stuff. And yet, you just don't help him. You just sit back and relax in your big recliner, waiting for his car to break down. He could break down on the side of the road at any moment, and you don't care. As a parent, you don't care. You're not worried. I mean, come on, Coach Bolton. That's kind of crazy.
It isn't to you. But to my dad? To Chad? Yeah, it's a little hard.
Shouldn't it be?
You know, they're happy as long as we're all talking about U of A. You chose Stanford.
What do you mean she chose Stanford? She literally tells you when you're in the treehouse that Stanford's been chosen. They've been talking about Stanford since before she was born. She says that Stanford's been chosen for me. We've been talking about Stanford since before I was born. Her and her mom. And so now Troy, listen. She didn't choose Stanford. Stanford's been the school, the plan the entire time since she was a kid, since she was a baby. So she didn't choose Stanford. Come on, Troy. You're smarter than that. Come on. True, that was a very, very bad invitation to ask Taylor to prom. I mean, I know Chad thinks he's cool, thinks he's slick. You got to be better than that. You got to at least show that you're interested a little bit. This is the girl's biggest like dream is to go to prom with their boyfriend and have a magical time. Every girl dreams about going to prom. Well, most girls dream about going and having a fantastic time at prom. It's like the most magical night of their entire senior year and all that kind of stuff. And then Chad just goes and says for prom. He's asking her without asking her. And Taylor, I respect it. She wants to be asked truly. Like she wants a true invitation to prom with Chad. So do better, Chad.
It's lunchtime.
Does Rocket Man actually play the drums? Or does he just carry him around? Is it kind of like an aesthetic thing? Like, oh, I'm supposed to be this kind of... I got the long hair, the Bieber haircut. I got the beanie on. So just adding the drumsticks is like part of his outfit? Or does he actually like... Is he good at playing the drum? Like, I don't know. I'm curious. I don't know. He just carries them around all the time. What is it with Sharpay's agenda to get this song? I know that she wanted to be the lead because she wanted it to be the one Sharpay one-woman show or whatever. But she's just... Her whole agenda is to get this song that Kelsey's going to write for Sharpay or write for Gabriella and Troy. Why? Like, why? Just accept your role and be the best you can be at that role, which is going to be like a secondary character. That's okay. You could be that. It's well established that Troy and Gabriella are the leads. That's pretty well established. So she just gotta accept it, but she just can't accept it for some reason.
But the program starts in 2 weeks.
Okay, let's take a little bit look. Does anything look odd to you about Gabriella Montez, her page, her profile here on the Stanford website? She's graduating from East High in New Mexico. Her achievements, valedictorian, academic decathlon, always at the top of her class. And she was even at a mix of 4 different schools. She was at the top of her class. And then there's one thing that doesn't seem to fit now, does it? Right there at the bottom, it says, likes animals. What? Likes animals? First off, who doesn't like animals? Like, you're a weirdo if you don't at least like animals. You don't have to own any animals, but to not like animals is just like psycho serial killer behavior. But that's not even the point. Everybody likes animals. The point that I have, the point of concern that I have with this is, why is it on her list of achievements and accolades and all this kind of stuff in her bio for Stanford? Why would it be on her bio? It doesn't help her stand out. Everybody likes animals. It's not even a specific animal. Like, she likes dolphins, or she likes kangaroos or peacocks, or whatever the animal may be. It doesn't, it's such a broad thing to say. That doesn't help you stand out. Did she type this? Did somebody type it for? Did Stanford type this? What? Likes animals is so broad. It's not even a specific animal. It's crazy that they would put this on Gabriella's bio. You couldn't have thought of anything else. I don't know, dating the star 2-time basketball state champion would probably fit better. It'd be more appropriate on this bio than likes animals. Come on, what is this? It doesn't make any sense. Everybody likes animals. At least you could have given a specific animal. Like, she likes pandas, or she likes, I don't know, something exotic. Like, she likes parrots, or something out of the ordinary that people that oh, that's kind of curious. I wonder why she likes that animal. It gets you thinking. It's a specific animal that not many people would like. You could have put a random animal. You could even have put dogs or cats or something in there. You didn't have to just put likes. And it's such a random thing to have in there. It kills me every time I see it, because it's just what are we doing here? Why is it so broad? Why is it not specific at all? It's crazy. Troy climbing over Miss Darvis during just rehearsals is so unnecessary. It's so over the top. It's so extra from Troy. There's no reason he needed to do this. There's a saying in the theater world: save it for the show. You don't need to do everything in rehearsals. You got to be spontaneous. Think of it not everything, obviously. Obviously, you want to have everything. You want to have most of the important stuff nailed down in your performance. But if you want to toss out some flair during the live performance, then that's encouraged. Just toss out a little flair if that's your personality. But Troy doing this during rehearsals, climbing over the seats and including over top of Miss Darvis, his teacher, is so unnecessary from Troy. He absolutely does not need to do this. He could have climbed over any other chair that wasn't Miss Darvis. He could have climbed over no chairs. The climbing over the chairs is totally unnecessary. It's just, I think, you know what it is? I think it's a power move. Troy is asserting his dominance over Miss Darvis because he is the alpha male. I think that's what it is. That's the only explanation I can think of.
Did you get a copy of that song from Kelsey?
No, but I'm taking her to prom.
Brilliant.
Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Now get me that duet.
Sharpay, you are not Gabriella.
Is it? Don't be so sure.
I would almost accept Sharpay's constant pining for Troy over her trying so hard to get this stinking song from Kelsey so that she can replace Gabriella in the show. Almost. It's just so annoying that Sharpay is just, like, this is her one singular focus, is to get this song so that she, in her mind, can, like, replace Gabriella for some reason and sing with Troy, or, like, I don't know, what's her end goal here? If Ryan does end up getting her the song, they're going to transpose it into her key, and then she's going to sing the song with Troy, or is she going to sing the song, she's going to sing both parts by herself? Like, what's her end goal here? I don't even know. So why does she want the song so bad? I think it's funny that Troy and Chad come to this junkyard so often that Mr. Riley feels comfortable leaving his place of business in the hands of these kids. Like, he's got to take off, so lock up when you're done. Like, I like that he trusts these two so much that he can leave his place of work. And presumably, he has that other worker, because that other worker, like Bobby, I think his name was, he opens the gate for him. So where does he go? Why doesn't Mr. Riley just trust Bobby with he pays that guy? He should be able to close up the shop, right? He should be able to close up the junkyard. But no, he trusts these two teenagers with closing up his place of business. It's kind of wild if you think about it. I could be wrong here, but I'm pretty sure the shirt that Troy and Chad are using right here in the beginning of the Boys Are Back song is the same one that Troy wears during the summer when he tells Sharpay that he's not going to sing. Not going to sing with her at Lava Springs. It could be just some random shirt that Troy just has, because I'm sure he gets a lot of t-shirts, East High t-shirts, from being on the basketball team and stuff. That makes sense. But it kind of looks like that same shirt. It could very well be. And now he just uses it as some sort of, like, dirty rag that he wipes his hands with after he gets done fixing his car. That's all possible. Plenty of people do that. They use old shirts like that. But I don't know. It looks similar. So I just thought that could be. It very well could not be. It could just be another random shirt. But I don't know. It looks like it. I do want to point out, it got really dark while they're singing this song. The sun had to have been just getting ready to go down while they're here, because if not, they were here for a long time at this junkyard. It just weird that it's just immediately like super, super dark all of a sudden. Like, the sun had to have been just like ready to go down, just right there on the sunset, right ready to cross the threshold between you can see it and now it's dark. Like, it's got to be. Otherwise, they were here forever.
It's obvious that you're not thinking clearly because you're thinking about Troy. I mean, I get it that he's your first crush, but...
I'm sorry.
I don't see why Taylor's in the wrong here. Gabriella is completely crazy for choosing Troy over an amazing opportunity at Stanford. Yeah, I guess she could have maybe said it a little bit better than he's your first crush. Like, being so blatantly, like, disrespectful. Not disrespectful, but, like, phrasing it that way. She could have said it a little bit better than that. But they're supposed to be best friends, right? Like, they're supposed to be two peas in a pod. They're supposed to be best friends. Shouldn't a best friend be able to say this kind of stuff, be, like, truthfully honest with their best friend, with their other best friend? Like, if you can't say this kind of thing to each other as best friends, then who can you say them to? Like, who can tell somebody, like, other than their parents, I guess? Who's going to give them brutal, honest truth other than a best friend? If you can't do that, then you're not really best friends. So Gabriella's being absolutely crazy about, like, choosing to go to possibly thinking about going to U of A for a year, skipping out on this unbelievable opportunity that rarely anybody ever gets. Like, such a select few people get the opportunity to go to this early enrollment Stanford freshman honors program or whatever it's called. And she got chosen for that. She's like one of the special few. And she gets to go to this. And she's thinking that, I'm just going to skip out on that opportunity and go next year to Stanford after I'm ready, after I take classes at U of A for a year. Like, come on, Gabriella. Just because Troy is going to be here? Like, I get it's a high school like romance, a high school relationship, but like, you're gonna be fine. There's this little thing called phones. There's this little thing called cars. You can see each other. You're 1,000 miles away. Yeah, you're going to Stanford, California. Troy's going to be in U of A in New Mexico, Albuquerque, New Mexico. That's a distance. It is a decent distance, but it's a drivable distance. As we will see later on, it is a drivable distance. So, like, why? I just don't understand her reasoning behind this. It's shocking to me that she's even considering not doing the Stanford honors freshman honors program to stay in Albuquerque and take classes at U of A just to be closer to Troy, so they don't have to quote unquote break up. Even though there's no reason they should ever like have to break up. They can both do their thing and still be together. It's possible. It's like Taylor's not the victim or not the villain here. Taylor may have been the villain during the summer, but she is not the villain now. It's crazy. Gabriella, I don't know what you're thinking.
Te quiero con toda mi alma. I love you too, Mom.
I actually looked that up because I didn't know. I always was curious of what that phrase meant, because I don't speak Spanish, if you didn't know. So I didn't know what it meant. And so I looked it up. And when Gabriella's mom says, Te quiero con todo mi alma, I apologize for the brutal pronunciation of those words. It actually means I love you with all my soul. That's pretty sweet. I like that. I like that's a nice little sentence to throw in there. And I feel like it has more impact spoken in Spanish instead of if she would have just like spoken in English. So I like that they did that. That's a nice little touch. Man, Troy is getting real good at climbing that tree to Gabriella's room. He's had a lot of practice, I can assume. He's had a lot of practice. He's getting real good. How did Gabriella manage to get those bowls and cups up to her room without her mom hearing? She was literally just a few seconds ago shushing Troy because he was like screaming, yelling that there was a pizza pie for her. So how in the world did she have those cups? She go downstairs super quietly. I'm assuming her mom was like sitting in the living room reading a book or something. So how does she get past her to the kitchen to get those bowls and those cups and those plates without her mom hearing, if she wanted to be so secretive? And there's another picture up there. Who took that picture? Gabriella's totally made up her mind already. She's clearly made up her mind that she's going to leave. And for some reason, she's just not telling Troy. Like, why are you not telling? You've clearly made up your mind already that you're going to go. I know you had that sequence right there where you said you were going to maybe take some classes at U of A and stay around. And then Troy said that you need to get your act together and do the right thing and go to Stanford. She already knows she's going to go to Stanford. So why are we beating around the bush here? Why are we not just directly telling our boyfriend what we're going to do with our future? She knows what she's going to do, and she's leading him on and not telling him fully. It's, Gabriella, this makes me just want to just yell at you. You're so inconsistent. Who took that picture of her and Troy standing on the golf course at Lava Springs? Who took that picture? They're obviously both in the frame, in the photo. They couldn't have taken it. Who took the picture? Freaking Fulton? Who took that picture? What is it with the inconsistencies of these pictures? Who took it? I need to know. You know, the audio for this little like transition here is as they go to the next scene. Miss Darbus, you can hear her saying like, "All right, let's go. There's sets to be painted. Let's go to the next number." Like all that kind of stuff. You can hear her saying that, but when you actually like see her on screen, she's not saying those words. I just think it's funny that they chose that audio with this, like, to go over that scene. It's just, like, Miss Darby's clearly not saying those words. She's talking to students, or she's speaking directly to, like, one student or something. She's not like screaming to the whole auditorium or something. So like it's just a little thing that I like to point out.
Tell me about this Juilliard.
There's nothing to tell.
Well, maybe there is. I heard you talking to other schools. I mean, is this serious?
Yeah, U of A isn't the only school that's talked to me, Dad. You know that.
But it's the only school we talked about.
Coach Bolton needs to realize that it's good. It's a good thing that he has a son that is so talented that he's getting offers from multiple different schools, scholarships, full rides to all these different schools, to multiple different schools. But he's so like one single-minded about U of A that he can't see. Like, you know how lucky Troy is? Some basketball players don't even get scholarships to a single school. They got to walk on if they want to play. But Troy is so talented that he gets offers from multiple different schools. And all his dad can think of is, well, why you didn't tell me you were getting offers from multiple different schools? I thought, well, what about U of A? I thought that's the only school that we talked about. Like, just be happy that your son has options. Like, it's good to have options. He may still end up choosing U of A, but at least he's got options. At least he can have, like, he can sit down and he can think about what's the best situation for him in terms of his academic stuff, in terms of his wanting to maybe sing, in terms of actually playing basketball and getting to the league. Because I'm assuming that was the end goal. Him and Chad want to get to the NBA, you would think. So, like, it's good to have options. And it's just weird that his dad is so, like, frustrated and confused that he wasn't telling him. Like, maybe Troy should have told him that he was getting offers from other schools, because that's obvious. Like, and why wouldn't, is Troy snagging the mail? Like, would these offers not be coming into the mailbox to the house, and his dad would not be able to see? Like, how is Troy getting these offers without his dad knowing? That doesn't make any sense to me. But anyway, his dad should be thrilled that he's got options. He can make a informed decision on where he wants to go to school. But he's just so, like, single-minded about U of A, it's kind of crazy. See? It's the other door! So why didn't Miss Darbus use that door when she went to talk to Miss Bolton? When she went to talk to Coach Bolton. That door's clearly there. She could have easily used it, but she didn't. She wanted to go through the entirety of the boys' locker room because she wanted to see some potential teenage dong. Oh, and also, by the way, why is there an unlocked door to the school? Like, obviously, when you look through the door, there's another little hallway, but at some point, you're going to get to a door that leads to the outside that is unlocked. Or maybe Troy has a key that he got from his dad, because his dad's the coach. But first off, why is there an unlocked door in the school at night? That's the first thing, even if it is a side entrance. But secondly, if it wasn't unlocked and Troy has a key that he took from his dad, why did he get a key? How did he steal the key from his dad? Did he take it from his wallet or from his around his car keys or something? Like, what? Presumably, his dad, like, raced after him after he ran off the basketball court. So in this sequence, did he have time to grab his dad's key to the office, to the basketball office, or was there never a key involved and he just got there and what's going on? How did Troy get into this high school? It always frustrated me that Troy takes his jacket off that way. Why does he take it off? It's a zip-up jacket with a hood and then a t-shirt. But the jacket's not zipped up, it's unzipped. So there's no need to take it off like it's an actual hoodie. He doesn't need to be that dramatic and take off everything at once. You could take off the jacket, then take off your shirt to put your basketball uniform on. You don't have to rip everything off over the top of your head like you're wearing a freaking regular hoodie with no zipper. There was no need to be that dramatic, Troy. I know you're in your sad boy era, but you don't need to be that dramatic. That was totally unnecessary. Man, that morning janitor is going to be confused. When he gets there tomorrow morning and he looks up and he sees footprints on the ceiling, he's going to be absolutely, utterly confused. Weren't the lockers all cleared off with all the East High logos and all the lettering and all the stuff? Wasn't it cleaned off when they were doing Walk Away? He closed the locker and all of the lockers were cleaned off and the hallway was cleaned off and all that kind of stuff. It was empty. Like there was nothing, because they're obviously ready for the end of the school year. But now all of a sudden everything's back, and we know this is Troy's locker area because this is the same hallway that Troy's been seen getting his stuff out of his locker. So this is obviously his locker area. But now all of a sudden the paraphernalia is back on the lockers? How? What? How? See, Troy, that's just vandalism. That's just unnecessary. There's no need for vandalism. The janitor's going to have a heck of a time trying to put that back up when he gets in. Man, I'd hate to be this morning janitor. Footprints on the ceiling. That big-time banner that you got hanging down in the cafeteria is just randomly not hanging up anymore. Kind of crazy. But there's no need. There's never any need for vandalism. Miss Darbish just creeping in the dark, watching Troy have a mental breakdown. I respect it.
We need to talk. I can't be a little adult right now, Troy. I'm hoping you understand that.
Yes, Gabriella. Yes, we do need to talk, because this is going to be another rant. Are you ready? I'm ready. First off, what is it that you say right there? I can't be a little adult right now? Is that what she says? I can't be a little adult right now? I never... She says it so quickly, I never really got what she says right there. Even now, watching it back and hearing it like with headphones on, I think she says I can't be a little adult right now, but I still don't know. So if one of you guys in the comment section could help me out with that, what does she actually say right there? But anyway, what does that even mean? if that is what she said, what does that even mean? Secondly, the gall, the absolute cojones to break up with Troy over the phone is insane. Like, Gabriella, you knew that you felt this way, and you led him on for a few more weeks at least, while you decided you were going to go to the freshman honors program, and then you go to the freshman honors program, you go to Stanford, you leave him behind. You still, before Troy does Scream, his dad asks him if Gabriella's still coming down to prom. And Troy says, yeah. So Troy is still, at that point, was still living with the knowledge that you were going to come down, that you were going to follow the plan. The plan was to come down for graduation, come down for prom, and come down for the musical. All three of those things she was going to come back to Albuquerque for. But she knew the whole time, or at least most of the time, that she wasn't going to do it. And she still led him on and made him think that was all going to be okay. And then to break up with him over the phone, the audacity is insane. Thirdly, that was the plan. The plan was for you to come back for prom and graduation and then do the show. So I just don't understand why she's now changing her mind about all of this. Like, what changed? She doesn't want to. She doesn't think that she could go back, say goodbye multiple different times, and then like she doesn't think that she has it in her to say goodbye more than once. Come on, Gabriella. Like, what are we talking about here? Why are you changing the plan? The plan was for you to come back for all those different things. Yeah, it's gonna be tough to have to say goodbye to your friends each time you leave again, but you're an adult. That's what adults do. They make tough choices. Come on, Gabriella. Oh my God. And then lastly, I don't know. Your jean skirt looks stupid. I don't know. I'm frustrated with you. Okay.
She's gonna miss the prom.
No, she's not coming back at all.
Wow.
Man, those late 2000s phones are durable. Chad's talk with Troy is wild if you think about it. He's basically, to sum it up, he's basically telling Troy that he's going to get with all these college girls when they go to college. You don't, the essence of what he's saying is you don't bring the girl with you after high school. You break up with your high school crush so that you can be free and go and date or not date and just get with a bunch of different girls in college. You want to live the college experience, the typical male college experience. And he says that he's going to do that with Taylor. Taylor's going to Yale, he says. So he's like, it's just going to be you and me prowling the campus of U of A looking for girls. That's basically what Troy, in the essence of what Chad is telling Troy here. That's the basic idea of what it is. And that's crazy. If you look closely, you can see Troy in the tree right now. It's kind of funny. How did nobody that was walking past this tree just happen to look up and see this random dude standing in a tree? You know how creepy that is? Like these other students that go to Stanford, they don't know this relationship. They don't know that Gabriella has some boyfriend from back in high school when she was in high school. They don't know about this. So these random students at Stanford just happen to walk past this tree. They don't notice this creepy dude standing in a tree on a college campus. And they didn't call the cops? That'd be my first thought. Like, hey, 911, there's a crazy student or there's some random creepo standing in one of our trees. Can you come arrest this man? Like, I don't know what intentions he has. Like, what's going on here? Nobody had that thought. Nobody noticed this guy in a tuxedo. Nonetheless, he's in an actual tuxedo. Like, this is not creepy to anybody else. Like, come on. How in the world did that junky truck make it from Albuquerque all the way to Stanford? I know that he did not take the highway. He would have blown up before he left New Mexico. That truck would have blown up before he left New Mexico if he would have gotten on the highway. There's no way that thing does more than 40 miles an hour. There is absolutely no way that Troy made it all the way here with that truck. That's the most unrealistic thing in this entire thing. That truck getting here. Come on, get out of here.
Promise tonight in Albuquerque. It's 1,000 miles away.
My prom is wherever you are.
That was pretty smooth, Troy. That was pretty smooth. So, can somebody explain what this little like sequence is? Did they actually go to their prom, or is it just kind of like some sort of fantasy of what they would have looked like if they had gone to it? And like I've never actually known, because obviously Gabriella says before they start dancing, she says that prom is tonight in Albuquerque, which is like 1,000 miles away. So obviously they couldn't have got back to prom. So there's no way that this can actually be the real prom. I'm assuming it's like interpreting what prom would have looked like if they actually went there instead of Gabriella going to Stanford early. I feel like that's what it is. I could be wrong, but I think I got it right. I think that this is kind of like some sort of imagining of what prom would look like, since we never get to see it otherwise. This is what prom would look like if Troy and Gabriella were there. I don't know. That's just what I'm thinking. I don't know. Maybe that's true. I don't know. Whoa, easy now, you two. This is still Disney at the end of the day. You may now have a movie budget, but we're still in Disney. That's a little too hot for TV, if you ask me. I mean, they're going after each other.
I'm not the only one that changed when you came to East High. Kids that I used to just pass in the hallway. We're friends now. And we're supposed to be doing a show together.
I don't know, Troy. Maybe you should have been a better classmate. Maybe you shouldn't have to take some girl coming into your life for you to actually talk to people outside of the basketball team. Like maybe you could have been a better person and talked to these people. You didn't have to become friends with them. Like he said, like, now we're friends. Like, that's cool. Now you're friends. But you didn't have to be. You could have just said, like, hey, what's up? Like, what's going on? Like, hey, how you been? Like, you could do normal human interactions with other people that you come across in the hallways instead of just being a loner who hangs out with just the basketball team and that's all you talk to. It didn't have to take some random girl showing up to change that for you. But, hey, you do you, Troy. You do you.
Oh, what is that? Is that your cologne or a toxic spill?
Oh, yeah. It's called Babe Magnet.
The original Throb. So, we're just not going to see callbacks? Like, I understand that it's a different type of play because this is about the seniors, but like the first movie told me that callbacks were just as important as the real play. We never even get to see the real freaking play in the first movie. And now we just skip the callbacks? I understand, like I said, I understand. This play is totally different than the first one because this is about the actual kids. So there wouldn't really necessarily be a reason for the callbacks. But you established in the first movie that callbacks are just as important. We need to focus the entire thing on callbacks and not the actual freaking play. And then in this movie, you just tell me that, oh, callbacks, whatever. They're not that important. We're just going to go right to the play. Like, come on! I thought they were super important. What is happening? That crowd is way too hyped for the basketball team to come out onto the floor. I mean, I get it. They're back-to-back state champs and everything, but you got grown men jumping out of their seats cheering for them just to step out onto the stage for their part of the play. Like, what is... like? They're that excited? You're jumping out of your seat? I mean, okay. So did Ryan do I Want It All by himself? Or did he do it with Tiara? Because Tiara is playing Sharpay in the Sharpay role. So did Tiara come out and do I Want It All? Like, she's not there on stage with him now, but that lends me to believe that he just did it by himself. Even though I Want It All is supposed to be Sharpay's like song because she wants everything. She wants it all. She wants to have the fame and the fortune. She wants it all, obviously. So that's like her thing, not Ryan's really. So it's weird that Ryan would do it by himself. So even if Sharpay is now playing Gabriella, but they specifically said that Tiara is filling in for Sharpay as Sharpay. So wouldn't Sharpay be in this song as like Tiara would play Sharpay in the song? If it is, it's hilarious because seeing Tiara play Sharpay in this would be funny. But it's weird both ways. It's weird if Tiara is out there because, like, obviously she's not Sharpay. She's just playing Sharpay. And it's weird if she's not out there because then it's just Ryan by himself. But it doesn't. I Want It All doesn't fit Ryan's character. Ryan doesn't want it all. He just wants to go to Juilliard. That's all he wants. So, but Sharpay wants the fame and the fortune. She wants it all. So having her not out there feels weird.
We have to save something. And when I'm at the balcony, don't forget the special. You're always forgetting the special, okay?
Don't forget the special. You're always forgetting the special. What does that even mean? What's the special? Now I'm curious about what that is. What could she possibly talk about? Some sort of special, like, effects? Or, like, some sort of, like, sparkler firework? Not firework, but, like, some sort of, like, set piece that's gonna be part of her scene? Like, what's the special? Now I'm curious about what the special is. Like, why is this guy always forgetting the special? Like, what are we talking about? Is it her after dinner meal? Like, is that, like, you're forgetting the special? Like, the roast beef on rye? Like, what are we talking about? What's the special? I need to know, Sharpay. Tell me what the special is.
Even if we're miles apart. Even if we're miles apart.
I haven't heard this much vamping since Bop to the Top. I know for a fact that Troy's truck is not making it back to the school in time for that musical. I can barely believe it made to Stanford in one piece. So now you're telling me he drove it all the way back to the school? And he made it in time for the second act of the play. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I totally believe that.
Toodles.
So that light switch only turns on and off the star on the Sharpay's door? That's weird. Presumably there's another light switch right next to it that turns off the lights of the actual room. But it's just weird. Wouldn't the light switch, or wouldn't the on-off button for the star be, like, on the star? Like, how does that even work? How does the light switch turn off just the star from that distance? Is it like, is there a wire? Like, what? That doesn't make any sense. Is there a wire that connects it from the light switch to the star? Like, is it Bluetooth enabled? Like, what's going on here? How does that even work? I'm not an electrician, so I don't know how that would work, but to me, to my feeble mind, it doesn't, the math ain't mathin' on how that would work. Why would Sharpay's parents be confused to see Tiara on stage? Shouldn't she have been playing Sharpay the whole night? In Night to Remember, and then obviously we talked about already in I Want It All, but I think we came to the conclusion that she wasn't a part of I Want It All for some reason, but she would have been in A Night to Remember, playing the Sharpay role, because Sharpay would have been playing the Gabriella role, so she would have been dancing with Troy, so that means that Sharpay would have been dancing with Zeke, but then Tiara is playing Sharpay, so Tiara would have been dancing with Zeke. So wouldn't they have already been accustomed to seeing her on the stage? So why are they now just, like, looking at the program like, wait, isn't that supposed to be Sharpay on stage at this point? Isn't she supposed to be singing this song? Like, you should have known already that Sharpay was playing Gabriella. Maybe, I guess, because now they saw Troy and Gabriella back, they just kind of assumed that Sharpay would go back to playing her own character, her own role. And not seeing her on stage could, like, have thrown them off because, like, oh, why is she up there? Now that Troy and Gabriella back, she should be back playing herself. So maybe that's the reason? But other than that, I can't think of anything else why they'd be confused, because Tiara Gold should already have been playing Sharpay most of the show. So why would they be confused all the way? And this is the end of the play. Why are they confused now? What kind of budget does this school have? They can afford a lowering platform for Sharpay to come down from the ceiling, and they can also like afford to have a portion of the stage be like an elevator where you can go down and up on it. Like, what kind of budget does this drama department have at this school? How much money does this school make? They can afford to have great stuff for the basketball school. They can, or the basketball team. God, I sound weird with the basketball school. They can afford to. They are a basketball school technically, but they can afford to have like the finest equipment for the basketball team. They can afford to have all the stuff for the math decathlon stuff, and all the other clubs that they have, the yearbook. And yet they still have money in their budget to put on all this performance, like all this extra stuff for the drama club. Like, this school's making bank.
Miss Sharpay Evans, University of Albuquerque Performing Arts.
When did she make that decision? Did she, was that her backup? She was just going to go to University of Albuquerque, go to U of A for performing arts if she happened not to get to Juilliard? Because obviously once the Juilliard representatives left, they told Miss Darbus that Kelsey and Ryan were going to get the scholarships. So obviously she must have told Sharpay beforehand that she wasn't going to get the scholarship and it was going to go to Ryan, because Kelsey and Ryan didn't know. They weren't told beforehand because their reactions on stage are genuine. So like they didn't know they were going to get the scholarships. But Sharpay obviously had a backup plan. She knew that she wasn't going to get the scholarship, so she must have already had that U of A plan as her secondary option that she told Miss Darbus to say if she somehow did get the scholarship, which she ends up not getting. But it just feels like, how did Sharpay know that she wasn't going to get it if Ryan and Kelsey didn't know? You know what I mean? It's kind of weird.
I've chosen basketball. But I've also chosen theater. The University of California, Berkeley, offers me both. That's where I'm going to be attending next fall.
When did Troy make his decision? Did he make it on the drive back from Stanford? Because the look on Gabriella's face clearly means that she didn't know that he chose Cal. So he obviously didn't tell her on the way back from Stanford. So he had to have done it at some point, made his decision. And did he accept the scholarship offer? Like, did he sign his name, letter of intent? Like, what is the timeline on Troy accepting the scholarship to Cal or going to Cal in general? Like, when did he make this decision? The whole time we've been seeing him be so like conflicted on where he's going to go. And now all of a sudden he knows he's going to go to Cal? And when did he have time to do all this? This could just be a random person, but the woman sitting next to Gabriella's mom, it feels like they casted her to be a relative of some sort. I wouldn't think like a sister or something, but maybe like a cousin, or maybe like it feels like, I mean, they're framing it. They could have framed it the way this shot looks. They could have framed it so that the mom is in the center of the screen. But they framed it so that both her and this other woman are in the screen the same amount of space. So obviously that means that this person like is somewhat important to the family, because why would they have her in focus as much as her mom? It's the same shot with Sharpay and Ryan's parents. Both of them obviously are in the shot together because they're obviously both the parents. So I don't know if this is like some sort of like cousin. It can't be a sister because Gabriella never mentions she has a sister. So it can't be like a sister. I think she's only an only child. So it's got to be some sort of like cousin, or maybe her friend, or maybe her mom's. Maybe it's her mom's friend's kid. Like I don't know. Or maybe it's just her mom's friend. I don't know, but like it seems like they put her intentionally next to her mom for some sort of storyline reason, and it looks like they casted her in a way that makes you think that she's got some sort of connection to Gabriella and her mom. She looks similar to both of them, so I don't know, maybe a cousin. I don't know. That's all I got.
Miss Gabriella Montez, Stanford University, pre-law.
It feels like the pre-law thing kind of came out of nowhere, doesn't it? Like, we've not heard her once talk about being or wanting to go to pre-law. Really ever, I don't think. We've never really heard her want to do that. All we really know about her is that she's super smart. She's like a super smart honor roll type of kid that's like a valedictorian, all that kind of stuff. But we've never really seen her intentions for pre-law. It just feels like it came out of like nowhere that randomly she wants to go into be a law or go into pre-law. I don't know, just to me it feels like out of left field that's her field of choice. I'm guessing that Chad leaves when he hears Troy make the decision to go to Cal, because obviously if he left before that he wouldn't know that Troy made the decision. So he probably left at some point after Troy did that, but he's in the very front row. So how did nobody see him leave? His parents didn't see him walk off stage and wonder where he's going? Miss Darbus didn't see him walk off stage and wonder where he's going. Like nobody saw him leave. Like he just got up at the front row and left. I don't know. It's weird. Okay, we got to stop. We got to stop right here because I should have pointed this out earlier. That's my bad. But having Troy and Chad's jerseys hanging in the rafters before they've even graduated is insane. They haven't even technically graduated yet. I know the season's over, but they already have their jerseys hanging in the rafters. They're that important to the team. I know they're back-to-back state champs, which is awesome. That's something that not a lot of teams do. But the fact that they haven't even officially left the school yet, and the school already put their jerseys in the rafters, is crazy. I don't know if you guys like can grasp how crazy that actually is. Like, for me, who's a big sports fan, that's insane.
It's a place where one person, if it's the right person, changes us all.
Why is Troy giving a speech? He's not a valedictorian. He's not a salutatorian. Certainly not. So just because he's a generational basketball talent means he gets to give a speech at graduation? I mean, I guess you probably could have given this speech to Gabriella and it would have hit the same, but I guess you give it to Troy because he's the star. What is the dress code for this graduation? It's certainly not like mandatory formal wear. There are shorts. There are just regular t-shirts. There's no black tie for most kids. There's no like dresses for the girls. Like, what is happening? Where did this come from? This non-traditional dress wear for graduation. Every graduation I've been to is always like formal wear, like ties, shirts and ties, and then like nice dresses or nice like pants and shirts for the girls. So like, what kind of hippie alternate reality am I in where we are wearing t-shirts and shorts like it's 1975 at the beach? Like, what's going on? Did Troy rip his shirt and tie off to unveil the red East High basketball t-shirt, or just t-shirt underneath? Or did he switch it at some point? Like, if he did switch it at some point, where did he go? Did he go to like a porta potty or something to switch his t-shirt during the dance break? How did he get this new shirt on? It almost looked like he like ripped his dress shirt and tie, ripped it off, or like ripped it back, I guess, and to reveal the t-shirt. I don't know, like it was quick, but that's kind of what it looked. It also could have just been he like pushed his gown or his cap not his cap, his gown. He pushed his gown back to reveal the t-shirt. That's kind of what it looked like too. But if he didn't do that, if he just went off and changed his, like why not just stick in the regular dress shirt and tie? That was working for you. Why did you switch? Why not just wear and if you wanted to wear the red t-shirt, why not just wear that the whole time? Everybody else doesn't care about the dress code, so why can't you just wear that? I mean, Chad's wearing a freaking graphic tee. So just wear the red t-shirt if you want to wear the red t-shirt. Why do you have to wear the shirt and tie, and then all of a sudden you switch it halfway through to this red shirt? It doesn't make any sense. Where'd you go? Where'd you go to switch it? You just go off farther into the grass and just take your shirt off? Like, what happened? So if those kids that were on the stage to the left of the graduation podium and thing, if they aren't part of the band, then why are they up there? Because some of them are wearing like cap and gown stuff. So why are they up there if they're not part of the band? Maybe they're part of the choir, I guess? That could be a possibility. Because if they're just up there for no reason, then why aren't they just down on the grass level where all the other kids were? I'm assuming they probably got to be part of like some sort of singing group or singing choir that the school has. That's why they'd be up there. Other than that, I can't think of a reason why they wouldn't just be down down with the other kids that are graduating. The only other reason, I guess, would be because maybe those are the kids that nobody likes. They just put them up there. I don't know. They got to be part of the choir or something. So was it all just a musical the whole time? Huh. Kind of meta. Does anybody know what happened to this kid? This Stan Carrizosa? Carrizosa? I don't know how to say his name. But, I mean, he made it, right? He won this contest. He won the Get in the Picture winner. He was the winner of that. And he got his song in the movie. So he made it. He made it big. But, like, I don't think there's ever been any... I don't think he's ever done anything after this. At least not to my knowledge. Maybe I'm wrong. But I've just never, like... It's just such a random thing. Like, he won this contest, and then all of a sudden he just, like, doesn't do anything else. Like, this would be huge. If I won this contest back in the day, and my song got put in the end of High School Musical 3, I'd be, like, over the moon. I'd want to capitalize on that tenfold. And, like, do a bunch of stuff after that. Capitalize on the quote-unquote fame that you could earn from this. But just, like, he doesn't do anything. Not that I know of. So... I don't know. Is there anybody out there that, like, knows this guy or knows what he's done after this, if anything? I've always been curious about that. And that is going to do it for my 3 videos doing deep dives, pointing out all of the inconsistencies, funny moments, things that make me question what's going on here throughout all 3 of the High School Musical movies, the whole trilogy. Like I said in the intro portion, I'm probably going to compile all 3 of those videos into one just big video so that people who don't want to watch 3 separate videos can just watch the entire thing in one massive, long video and get the whole point. So be on the lookout for that on the channel. It's going to be coming out pretty soon once this video's gone live. And yeah, this has been super, super fun. I enjoyed doing these different style of videos. It really made me think differently about how I do videos on the channel. I hope you guys enjoyed the different style. I know it's not my normal style that I do where I react to something like live. This is like, I have a script. I don't usually have a script for any of my, like, I don't script any of my videos ever on any of my channels, except for these videos that I started doing here because, one, there are long movies to watch, and I needed to remember everything that I wanted to say, so I wrote them down in a script. It's not a true script, but I wrote down notes, basically, for basic points that I wanted to get across. And that's something that I don't usually do, or don't ever do, really, except for these 3 videos. And so it was definitely a different pace, a different style, a different feel, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it came across funny and you thought it was cool and you thought you enjoyed the style. And maybe if you did, maybe I'll do this with other movies or other series that I enjoy a lot that have a lot of inconsistencies. And remember, I'm doing this in the perspective of the universe that it's in. Obviously, I know that a lot of these things can be boiled down to, oh, the reason why Troy switched his outfit at the end of that dance number is because he switched it off screen. He went off screen. They did a wardrobe change. He comes back on screen. He's got something different. I understand that's the real reason why he switched the clothes. But when you do the perspective of how this would make sense in that universe, why would he go off screen? Why would he go out of the dance number to go change his clothes and then come back on? Like, why wouldn't he just stay in his original tie and shirt and tie? Or why wouldn't he just wear the red shirt the whole time? Like, those kind of things are the real core of these videos and not the real world reasons why these things could happen, because all of these questions that I posed have real world answers that are very easy to explain, but that's not what I'm going for. I'm going for the in-universe explanations, why these characters would do these things. Would it make sense? Most of the time not. That's why this whole video or this whole series came to be, is because there's a lot of that stuff in these 3 movies that in the world of High School Musical, Troy wouldn't do some of the things. Like, it doesn't make sense, the stuff that he does. Gabriella, it doesn't make sense, the stuff that she does. Taylor, Chad, goes on. So that's kind of the main reason why I wanted to do that. I thought that'd be pretty fun and interesting. And I've never really seen anybody do that style of video for these 3 movies. So I thought, hey, I'm a big High School Musical fan, so why not I do it? So here it is. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave it a like, subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club. Let me know if you want to see this style of video with any other movie franchise. Hopefully it is, if you do want to see it's with something that I am more familiar with, because I'm obviously super familiar with these movies and with the series as well. So maybe I do it with the series also, because that has a few inconsistencies that could frustrate me. So maybe we do that next. I don't know, but hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, leave it a like. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.